Hello everybody, it's me, Custis Wiser here, and today we're going to be reviewing every movie that I have saw in March, which any of these movies would include extremely bad ones, or even extremely good ones. And let's start from worst to best. Starting off
is back. I'm kind of a big deal. And you're
Alright, Megamind 2 is pretty bad, and I think everyone on the internet has already said this before. I can go on and on if people say the internet has already said the animation is bad, the voice acting is bad, the story is bad, and worst of all, the Doom Syndicate is uninteresting and also pretty bad as well. It seems like everything in this movie is pretty bad. And the best way I could describe what Megamind 2 is, it's basically like the Cars 2 of the 2020s. But at the same time, comparing Megamind 2 to Cars 2, I think we can all agree that Megamind 2 is a lot worse than Cars 2. For my honest rating, I'm going to give this movie a 0 out of 10. No questions. Ricky Stenicki is kinda stinky. Man, this movie was a huge wasted potential. Mainly it was going to be directed by one of the Farrelly brothers, the guys who gave you underrated gems like Kingpin, or classics like Dumb and Dumber. And this is not as land as much as Dumb and Dumber, or nor even Kingpin. And mainly because a lot of the jokes were either super sexual or they're just kind of like something you see from an SNL skit, a modern SNL skit to be exact. And one of the main jokes that kind of angers me the most was when Rock Hard Rod, aka John Cena, makes a lot of jokes about making songs that are about jacking off, or mainly beating your meat. And it's not really funny. Best way I can describe this movie is that imagine Amy Schumer wrote the movie. Super sexual, and does not land. For the rating of this movie, I'm giving this a 4 out of 10. Next up on our list is Roadhouse. Actually, there are some parts of this movie that I do like. However, there are a lot of parts that I'm not really invested in. Like the romance in the movie I'm partially invested, but not really. I do like that the villain just wants to destroy the Roadhouse so he can build a resort. But at the same time, the Roadhouse isn't that much of a deal if you think about it, because I don't know. The place he's trying to build is super large and all. I mean, there are a lot of things that I do like in this movie. Like Conor McGregor being such a goofball, but at the same time, a psychotic goofball. And Dalton's character was more interesting than what he is in the original. Yeah, I said it. So I'm going to give this movie a 5 out of 10. Alright, next up is Kung Fu Panda 4. There isn't really that much to say about Kung Fu Panda 4 besides that it is okay. Meaning the same level of quality as Kung Fu Panda 3. Just okay. Like for Po, for some reason, he loses all of his wisdom from the first three. Like my main example is he lost his ability to gain inner peace despite having the ancient staff of wisdom. And then for the Fox Awkwafina character, she's not really that interesting besides that she's really annoying, and she's good at stealing, which makes her worthy to be a dragon warrior, I guess. And then for the Chameleon, she's just a one-dimensional villain. Pretty cool concept at first, but just didn't really execute it well. And also the humor isn't really that good as the first three. So to end this movie off, I'll just give this a 6 out of 10. Moving on to our top 3 is going to be Godzilla x Kong. The way I can describe this movie is that it is just dumb fun. Dumb fun is how I can describe it. And the kind of movie that just gives you pure entertainment. It's not trying to be compelling. It's not trying to be dramatic. All it is trying to entertain the inner monkey brain, the inner primate you have. There are some pretty good parts. Like, get to see King Kong discover his tribe. Then you get to see Star King being a menace. And then also get to see some pretty uninteresting human subplots. And then you get to see King Kong going full on
I pulled it off. All the power of Super Saiyan Blue intensified with the Kaioken technique. If I'd messed this up even a little, my energy would have run out of control, and with this much of it, I would have been toast.
What exactly does this technique do?
It's basically an energy multiplier. I learned it a long time ago from King Kai. This version doubles my strength, speed, and senses, and all the other traits I use in a fight.
All I can say about this movie is that it is just so fun. And for my rating of this movie, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. Alright, coming in second place is going to be Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I mean, I would like to have Godzilla x Kong, but besides all that, what I can describe this movie is that it is just a charming film. Mainly from charm-wise, it still holds up the charm as the original movie. And it's able to be a pretty solid follow-up to Afterlife. But it doesn't mean it was better than Afterlife, nor better than Ghostbusters. But it is better than Ghostbusters 2 and all. But still, it's pretty weak. I mean, there are too many subplots in the movie. But however, there are some pretty cool stuff, like the Death Chill. He's a pretty unique ghost. I mean, he's not like the painting ghost from the second movie. But still, he was pretty cool. But then he had the whole Fire Master thing, which I thought was kind of cringe, because you get to see the guy from Eternals be a firebender, which I thought I thought it was kind of bold to do so. But at the same time, it's Ghostbusters. I mean, they have stuff like that all the time. Well, mainly we're about to see him having stuff like that. And besides all that, it's a pretty good movie. So I'll give this movie an 8 out of 10. As I've saved the best for last, this is the best movie that has came out in March. Basically, the next blockbuster, next to Infinity War in Endgame, or The Lord of the Rings, or Star Wars, or Indiana Jones, etc. All I could say is, this is amazing. I want to talk about this. There's so many things I would love to talk about so much about this movie that I can make a full-on 40-minute analysis on it. That's how good this is. Like, the acting, good. Characters, good. Story, good. Cinematography, beautiful. Pacing, slow. But still, a great experience. Especially, and I think I love the most about it, is that how Paul gets deconstructed about how this prophecy seems to do more harm than good. And I like that they kind of show that not all the Iraqis agree with each other, but there's a lot more to say. So I'm going to give this movie a 10 out of 10.